Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pleb Fiesta. Arrow, your host tonight. And we are in the second half of the playoffs here. Earlier, we watched as Almost Legends and Calculated Throw went against each other. And a convincing 2-0 in favor of Almost Legends. So they took the East spot for the playoffs. And coming up here in a few minutes, we're going to have the best of the West. We're going to have Logical Decision and Team Training Wheels. So these teams here in the regular season, quote unquote, for the main season for this, relatively short event, Logical Decision, at the top of the list with 6 points. We have, we'll come back to that. We have Team Training Wheels with 4 points. So both of these teams, did pretty well in their series. I believe the max total points you could get was 6 for getting the wins. There's no, domination bonus, if I remember right. It's just how many points can you get. So that means that Logical Decision won all 3 of their matches. Team Training Wheels won 2 of their matches. Going back to that bracket here that I showed just a moment ago, again, Almost Legends did come out on top of Calculated Throw, so they do advance here to the, I guess, grand finals, is probably what we're calling them. So the winner of this match will be going on to take on Team Training Wheels. I'm sorry, just looking at the logos. We'll go on to take on Almost Legends in the finals. So we do have the lobby created here, so we'll be getting started in a moment here. Let me just make a note of that in the details. And so, fair enough, Munkus. So we're going to be going to Tomb of the Spider Queen. So this was the selection of Logical Decision. Let's see, so Tomb of the Spider Queen. Now, if you didn't catch the earlier show, we do have a bit of an update. So let's take a look at this. So in this event, from the very beginning, there were 8 teams, and each team selected 1 hero to ban. Coincidentally, they all banned different heroes, so there were 8 heroes banned right out of the gate. Those were Anubarak, Alarak, Medivh, Zeratul, Garrosh, Murky, Kel'Thuzad, and Maiev. However, because we're in the playoffs and this is a Pleb Fiesta where things just go south within a few moments, each of the captains and their teams selected 1 additional hero to ban. So for the remainder of the playoffs, Alex Straza, Leoric, Kael'thas, and Sergeant Hammer will also receive the ban hammer. Now, in addition to that, of course, each of the bans selected in Game 1 carries over to Game 2 and Game 3. Game 2 carries over to Game 3. So we'll be keeping that page updated for you so that you're up to date, keeping track of who we are banning and ultimately who's locked out of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and set up our list here so you guys get those nifty little pop-ups. So let me just do that real quick here. So let's see, Snowglare and Siltoid. All right, so that's left team and right team. So tonight we've got Wono, one of our 2 creators of the Wono and Mongoose Pleb Fiesta, along with Eday15, Ulysses, Snowglare, and Ziltoid. That's going to be our team for Logical Decision. And then for Training Wheels, we've got 3 out of 5 so far. So we've got Confused, we've got Seraph, we've got Taco Cat, we've got Michaelin, and we're gonna have one more in a moment. So let's go take a look at those maps. In this tournament, there are 11 available maps. Tomb of the Spider Queen is going to be picked. You may notice I have absolutely none of them selected as bans, and that's because this is a Pleb Fiesta and there are no bans. We're banning enough heroes out. We don't need to ban out maps. So For those of you who've played in NGS, you'll see that there are 2 additional maps, the 9 regular NGS maps, and you have the Hanamura and Garden of Terror available. Let's see. And there is Zhao. So there's our last player for Team Training Wheels. Let me update that. Cool. Alrighty then. Come back over here to the main show. Welcome back. So we do have all of our teams here set up. And let me just make sure they all know of the additional bans. You guys are up to date on the full ban list. Yes. Let me make sure. So Leoric, Kael'thas, Sergeant Hammer, and Alex Straza. Plus the original 8. All right, so now everybody's familiar with the updated bans, and I think we'll be able to get the show on the road here shortly. So again, this map was selected by logical decision. Team Training Wheels won the coin toss. They elected for first pick. And yeah, so if you've been following the Muradin controversy, the Sledgehammer talent was updated and fixed. I confirmed it myself today. So with today's patch that turned Chen into an interesting hero to deal with, the Sledgehammer was fixed, so it no longer gains the baseline quest stacks for just hitting anything. Looks like we are just about ready to get this started. I see some readies coming out in chat. And here comes the draft. So at the bottom of your screen there, just as a reminder, all of the current bans, the global bans that will be prevented from anybody selecting in this round. So in our last game, we didn't actually see a lot of choking. We didn't see a lot of people taking, tons of tanks out of the mix. We didn't see a lot of healers coming out of the mix. So we, the Royal We, are interested to see if we get any of that now, or if these teams take a little bit more aggressive and targeted approach, as we see Malfurion, the first ban for Training Wheels. And Orpheus, so looking to target that DPS, and as I recall, if I remember right, I think it was maybe Michaelin that played quite an entertaining Orphea the other day, so that isn't a huge surprise. There goes Diablo. So when you've got a Nubarak banned out, Diablo being the second one following up, and Almost Legends made great work of Diablo, or great work with Diablo, I guess, in the last match with Calculated Throw. So banning out 2 of these top tier tanks between the Nubarak and Diablo can be very helpful. And there goes Hanzo. I think that's another one that we saw. I don't remember which of them played it, but it saw some significant value. So logical decision, looking to play more of a focus game. And Training Wheels could be, going either direction. This could be a, targeted against that team. It could be just generally keeping an eye out for opportunities for their team. As we do see Johanna, the first pick for Team Training Wheels. And Johanna is not a big surprise. She provides a lot of value on this map, helping you to pull the minions together to get them down quickly. Pretty decent wave clear. They added to that with that patch. Gonna follow up with a Taco Cat playing Anduin and Michaelin with the Greymane. So this is another combo that we've seen a fair bit. It allows the Greymane to go deep into the enemy team with the Worgen form, and then rely on that Anduin to pull him out of danger when he inevitably finds such. And now our third ban coming out from Logical Decision. All right, I mean, sure. This is a small enough map. Cho'Gall can, get in between, a couple of lanes pretty quickly. But either way, nobody is playing either head of that ogre. Let's see, what do we got here? Snowglare's playing Gul'dan and Ana, so looking to shut down some healing. We've got the nano boosted Malthael, perhaps?
The hunt is on.
And Ziltoid on Lunara. So we've got dot damage for days. And, Anduin has a little bit of single target. He's got a little bit of AoE healing. But that AoE heal does have a long-ish cooldown. I want to say it's like 10 seconds or so. So we'll see if he can keep up with everything coming out here. Alright, guys, you are picking these really fast. And even Stitches had a lot of extra dot damage. Let's see, who did I miss? Ziltoid. Nara, there we go. And Wono has Ana. There we go. Alright, nobody switched around, right? Snowglare, Gul'dan, Ziltoid, Ide. Making sure these guys aren't switching around on me at the last minute. Looks like they did not. Yeah, you know what, guys? I was actually a little bit surprised. It was one of the early bans last matchup, so, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and update these bans we got here. So Orphea, Hanzo, and Cho. And for the red team, we had Malfurion, Diablo, and Gall. And we are already in the game. These guys loaded up fast. Let's go ahead and announce our teams here. So, for Logical Decision, we've got Ziltoid playing Lunara, Ide 15 on Stitches, Cuddlebear Stitches no less, Ulysses on that Mecha Malthael. Finally get to see one of these skins today. Snowglare running that Gul'dan, and Wono on Ana. And for Team Training Wheels, we've got Confused on the Falstad. Taco Cat is on Anduin. Zhao on Tyrande. Seraph is going to be playing Johanna. And who did I miss? I missed Greymane. Michaelin on the Greymane. So, quick rotation potential coming out for Team Training Wheels. But lots of dot damage, so, I expect there to be pretty quick rotations with that Gul'dan and Lunara, so, they're going to be moving around these maps pretty quickly. And, quick skirmish in the middle. I don't really know who I favor in the early game, as Anduin gets caught by Ide with that quick hook, just letting him know that he can get him even when he can't see him. And Falstad versus Malthael, I think that in theory, I think Falstad has the potential to win that, but at least in the early game, we'll see how that turns out. Because if he does get caught by Malthael, too far up, then Confused could find herself in a bit of a dangerous situation there. But right now, pretty even. The teams are looking to pretty much rotate opposite each other, catch up on those minions as they get close to the wall, and Ana Gul'dan heading over to get started on their bruiser camp. So a little bit of a different setup than you see from some other teams. You don't all that often see teams getting onto those bruiser camps this early in the game. Usually not until they have a bit of an advantage. But again, both of these teams have pretty good wave clear, so they can kind of afford to do that. That is true. So they've got the Stitches ult, they've got a Horrify, they've got a Sleep Dart. So they do have a few different ways that they can stop a Sanctuary. And now we've got 3 heading over here to get on the camp for TTW. The approved shortened version of the name. I have it on good authority. And with their bruiser camp here, they're going to go ahead and get some damage onto this wall. They've got all kinds of dot damage coming out of Lunara, Gul'dan, Ana, and they're going to get that first tower at least. But now there's an answering bruiser camp with Malthael joining the fight, and here comes Stitches as well. So we've got 5 on 4. We do have a few gems turned in for each team, but not quite close enough to really warrant, you know, somebody who's got a bunch. We do get the hook onto Michael in there. The Ana grenade prevents him from getting any of those heals from either Tyrande or Anduin, but thanks to that leap of faith, pretty much exactly what I mentioned in the draft was that it allows Greymane to be, you know, far in, even though this case it wasn't because of him diving himself, and make it out. So good hook, good leap of faith. Any range beats Malthael unless you rotate to gank. We'll see how that turns out. They have a lot of dot damage on their team, but they don't have a quick burst combo to really do that. But they do have a Stitches, so if that hook lands next time, that's a dead Falstad. Keep an eye on that. Seraph has no mana at this point. But it is Johanna, so, you know, probably a good 10 seconds yet still until her Iron Skin's available, so ultimately has to back out. I don't believe that Leap of Faith is available, and that hook went right in between a couple of the training wheels. Could have been a problem, but managed to just barely juke out of it. And Ulysses trying to turn in, but Zhao's going to stop that with that Lunar Flare. And this time it's going to be Seraph trying to turn in, but there are a lot of logical decision people here to make sure that that doesn't happen. And again, Johanna's still low on mana, but will pop that Iron Skin to give her that unstoppable. 28 to 14 in the gem count. And here we've got Malthael about half health. Falstad pushing into him, has a nice big wave to help provide some damage. And with that pressure here, we may see a turn-in. Falstad looking to get this and does get 23, so now it's 41 to 37 as both teams manage to get a big chunk of their gems turned in here. And they both do have enough to complete that turn-in. So once they get an advantage, which right now, training wheels being a little bit low, does have to pull back, and it looks like that's going to give Logical Decision the time they need to get that first turn-in. First turn into the game going over to Logical Decision. They've split up. Again, they have loads of dot damage. I kind of wonder if that wasn't the point of their theme, given who they've got out here. And that'll allow them to get, you know, pretty significant pressure on and then just back away. Just, you know, provide that poke damage and then just walk out if they should need to. So already the mid walls go down as 3 of the training was. Oh, we got a big sleep onto Johanna, but again, there's not really any follow-up to do anything. They want to get the damage onto this top fort, open up the boss lane a little bit. And with Greymane mid and Falstad bot, they're going to be able to get at least some damage onto this fort. I don't know that they're necessarily going to be able to take it all the way out. And Gul'dan's sitting almost at halfway on his stacks. Seasoned Marksman is about a third of the way there, roughly. And now we've got the team coming up here, Training Wheels, looking to try to push them off. They did get about half of that fort, so, you know, pretty much about what you can expect. Malthael looking to push in the mid lane here, and Falstad clearing up the bot lane. And now, looking to get some of these gems in is Gul'dan. And they gotta watch in the bot lane, though, because Falstad has almost enough just by himself So does Johanna and Greymane. So any one of these people gets one turn in, and that's going to be a nice ticket for them. Both teams sitting very close in XP at 9.5. Looks like, well, I was going to say Logical Decision is just slightly ahead, but they Training Wheels got a little bit of a blip of XP there. So, and now we've got a very uneven fight in favor of the team Training Wheels. Looks like Michaelin is going to be able to get that turn in, so this will give them a good advantage. We've got level 10 coming up, so Logical Decision gets the ability to, fight back against this. They certainly didn't want to go into the Web Weavers without having level 10. And there's the hook onto Greymane. He pops into Worgen form trying to get out, but there's just not anything to be done about that. The Stitches pops off that Putrid Bile, trying to catch up to one of those healers. Just nothing to do there. So the rest of these ults, while they're dealing with these Web Weavers, we do have the Horrify, we've got the Last Rites, Thorned Vine, and of course the Nano Boost. On the other side, we've got Hinterland's Blast, the Blessed Shield, Light Bomb, Go for the Throat, and Shadow Stalk. Yeah. And up here, we've got a 4v3. Greymane coming back, but Tyrande gets feared, has so much dot damage, and they could only save one with that Leap of Faith. And Seraph going back in, trying to enable Greymane to get somewhere here. But again, Greymane has to be careful. There's no Leap of Faith. They just used it on Johanna. And with as low as Johanna is, and with all the gems they've got, that's going to be a counter fort kill for Logical Decision. Both teams, however, do have turn in, and Falstad is looking to try to get a good chunk of those turned in. Does make it, and we get the blue Web Weavers coming out now. Greymane started this camp over here, so we'll see if they're gonna push into this or not. I don't think they will. A little aggressive to do it, but they at least know that it's going on there. They're trying to push down what they can out of this mid fort before the Bruisers get here and give that spell armor. And here comes the Web Weaver to give them that additional pressure. And all 5 of them are here in the middle. Falstad's in the bot lane trying to clear up that bottom Web Weaver. And look at those gems on Johanna, 41 gems. They want to look at this, but there's the Light Bomb and Lunar Flare. Malthael's deep into this. Michaelin, however, also in danger, but has 2 healers to keep him up. Seraph there just barely makes it out with that Leap of Faith. The Horrify going onto Greymane, and with all those dots, Greymane may very well go down, as Lunara does manage to take out Tyrande as well. And Falstad coming in a bit late to save the day there, takes half of his health. So 2 kills in return for the Malthael kill, still with Web Weavers going in the top lane, and they're going to get this full wall down in the mid lane. A lot of positive pressure, and the bottom lane is also very close to going down. It probably isn't going to go down, but it's very close. Maybe with another wave when they get a catapult in there, if Team Training Wheels doesn't kind of babysit that ends up being a dead fort. So we do see them check boss to make sure they're there, but obviously we can tell they went to both of their camps. Malthael dealing the damage. We've got Stitches anchoring, and then of course all of the dot damage taking out the Bruiser camp over here. So this is enough pressure that if Logical Decision sees enough of the team go elsewhere, they could certainly go for the boss, and they have a lot of damage. And we do see that Team Training Wheels is looking at that exact circumstance and saying, we know they're going to go for the boss once we show here. And here they come back down. So they see the team down here. Falstad is, by himself, pushed back. They don't go for the boss. Looking to maybe get a pick here. And they're not going to be able to get it onto Falstad. So a little bit of a dance around there. I think they probably could have gotten boss, but there's a little bit of risk to that. Let's zoom out so we can see what's going on all over the place here. So Falstad doing exactly what I said they needed to do. They needed to babysit that bot lane and make sure that that one catapult doesn't make it through and finish off that fort. But now I have to be careful because here comes the rest of the team from Logical Decision. So Confused versus the Wono Sleep Dart, and there it goes. Now all of that dot damage, the barrel roll, but the Horrify is gonna push Falstad into the wall, and now the rest of Team Training Wheels is going to turn in the top lane, so they're going to get the Web Weavers in trade for that fort and for Falstad's life. So Falstad will be back in 20 seconds. They're on the same talent tier. They'll at least be able to push back a little bit out of this. Let's take a look here and see if they can catch up to Ulysses. But we do see Stitches here making sure that that Greymane doesn't put too much pressure onto his team. So it looks like they're going to go top lane. They want to get pressure up here. Not a big surprise. The Blessed Shield goes out, followed up by the Light Bomb. Gul'dan is rooted, and the Hinterland's Blast misses, but ultimately Gul'dan is dead either way. The hook onto Michaelin. The Greymane taking tons of damage. Last Rites will finish. Actually, Lunara will finish the job. And Zhao as well. So much dot damage. So much to deal with. And there's the long hook, the fishing hook, right onto Falstad. And according to Kaku? I don't know what that means. I'm sure somebody in chat will understand what that's about. So we do see the Web Weaver down here. Gets this fort, is going to go ahead and get that well. Probably not going to get the full fort itself, I don't think, as Malthael and Lunara do make it down here. And with that now, 56 out of 60 for the blue team for Logical Decision. They also have the 16 advantage, which was very valuable to them in that last round. They got that fishing hook and staggered that Falstad death. And we do see them turning in, so now the pressure is on. We're going to have a siege camp in the bot lane. I fully expect them to push opposite the siege camp, maybe in the top lane where they have all of that pressure, and give them that boss lane potential. So here they come. So they're sitting in the mid lane for right now, both teams. Let's zoom out so we can see the whole map here of where everybody's going as they're backing off. Training Wheels are backing off here a little bit. They need this to come in. And they've got to be careful because that top lane. The hook onto Zhao. Ide gets pulled back here by Seraph. The Light Bomb on top of the Condemn, and there goes Lunara, obliterated by the Greymane. The Leap of Faith onto Seraph, pulling him back. Michaelin, however, in trouble. That big Horrify getting both of them. And down goes Seraph with the... I think the last rights came out on that from Ulysses. So first keep down. We've got a 4v4. The Web Weaver's going to work on that shield a little bit, but ultimately they're just going to come up here in the top lane, finish that top keep as well. And with this 4v4, they're now 16. I don't know that they look to finish. I guess they feel confident in what they've got here. They don't have any ults, so this is... I feel like this is a little bit questionable. But right now they're ignoring the there you go. I was gonna say they're just letting the catapults do all the work, so that's fine. They gave the pressure. They get, you know, almost half of it, and they get the bottom keep. So fair enough. That 4v4 means plan. Thank you, Monkus. And now they have a bruiser camp. So now they've got the spell armor. They have almost enough for yet another turn in, and Lunara's back on the map. They're getting close to level 20. And Lunara's going to go ahead and head down to get the bruiser camp going. Anna checking that boss. I don't know if she was checking the boss or was thinking maybe that, you know, if Wono thought maybe they could turn in and get a boss as well. But now Training Wheels are split. They don't know that Johanna is behind Logical. Oh, maybe he did. He manages to catch Johanna entirely alone as Seraph is in total danger here. And that is a big play for Logical Decision, and there goes all this Again, the dot damage onto Michael, and he's so deep, he's got to go down. Zhao getting caught by that hook. These hooks are on fire. The Horrify manages to get everybody. Taco Cat popping off that light bomb to try to stay alive, but isn't going to make it. Confused, getting all the damage coming out from Ziltoid, and that's going to be a 5-0 team wipe that started with Johanna being too deep and being caught away from the team, and Ulysses just recognizing that Johanna was there and being able to turn and get that kill. Some fantastic awareness and play coming out of Logical Decision to make that a nice, smooth core call for them. Taking a look at our stats, we do see 14 kills to 3. That heavy dot damage against a mostly single target, even with the second healer, but still mostly single target healing comp made it just very difficult, and it was so much damage. You could see, one corruption, some dots coming out of Lunara, and suddenly Grimian's at half health. So they really, planned ahead on that. They executed well, and also, check this out, Abolish Magic. Expect to see that some more, right? Especially with Chen. If Chen comes back into this game, Abolish Magic is gonna be huge. Get rid of that stagger instantly, and oh, by the way, don't forget about the disabling effects. So those Johanna condemns into light bombs, all right, no big deal. The roots coming out of Anduin, nice easy way to cleanse yourself, cleanse somebody else. One of the only self cleanses in the game, really, even though you have to use the ability on another ally. There aren't a lot of ways out for that. So these guys are already set up for the next round. Let's see where we're going. All right, looks like it's going to be Alterac Pass, and it's going to be Logical Decision's choice. So let's go ahead and update our thing here. So that was their choice, their win. Logical Decision has Alterac Pass, their choice. Update our wins. So again, let's show those bands again. So we do see those same 8 bands that we had originally. We added the Leoric, Alexstrasza, Kael'thas, and Sergeant Hammer, and we added today in Game 1 Orphea, Hanzo, Cho, Malfurion, Diablo, and Gaul. And just wanted to make sure the teams were aware and remembered the bands from match 1 so that we didn't have any issues like we had in game number in the first set today. And it does look like our teams are both ready to go. So again, we're going to go to Alterac Pass. This was the selection of Logical Decision as Team Training Wheels decided on first pick. So they really want to get their first hero selected. Now in the last match, that was Johanna. Just as a reminder, Diablo's out, Malfurion's out. So if either team wants to start a support or tank choke, they could certainly start that here. Let's get into this draft. Show me Ragnaros. Monkus, tell us in chat about the values of Ragnaros on Alterac Pass. Now, I expect to see heroes like a Junkrat here. For the grenades, for the stall, the mines to bounce people around, the rip tires work really well here. There's a lot of value out of a Junkrat here. So I expect we'll either see Junkrat or somebody will ban him. As our bans here, Lost Vikings followed up by Abathur, and there goes the Cimmeral. Listen, I don't ever get to use Comic Sans. I had to use Comic Sans for this. It seemed appropriate for a pleb fiesta. So stop giving me crap, Monkus. And our last ban of the first round is gonna be the Sylvanas. You know what? Sylvanas, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Sylvanas is a monster here. You get a cavalry and you pretty much like lose keeps, pretty much. It's just so much pressure. And there's the Thrall coming out from Zhao. Too soon. What did I say? Too soon. Rag, Junkrat. You'll have to remind me what I said, Catrion, that it was too soon. I apologize. It's been a minute. There's a 60-second delay. And Wono picking up the Tyrande with the Jaina Snowglare. Let's see. So let's update those. Jaina. So Snowglare running the Gul'dan last round was very effective, and Wono going from Ana to Tyrande. And here we go with some more Mephisto today. Didn't work out so well for the first team. We do see now a double mage comp with the Li Ming as well. And there goes that Ana ban. Much, much farther than I expected her to get. And a Blaze ban, that's interesting. I guess they want to make sure that they can't bunker that consume souls. Or just bunker in general. So yeah, you know, Monkus, I do agree. The Lava Wave does net a lot of value, especially since a lot of the time in this game, in this map, is spent away from lanes. So you're not getting as much of that minion XP, so that can provide a big boost. And that's the same value for heroes like, you know, even like the Lost Vikings, for example, or Abathur, which were both banned out. So we do see a Muradin, which Sledgehammer is okay, so we'll see if that comes up. Followed up by Urel. Now, minus points to Ulysses for not using the new skin. I won't give him too much crap because maybe he doesn't have the 2400 shards. I'm sorry, 1800 shards for the Urel skin, in case you are wondering. If you want a new Mecha Malthael, though, it's only about 600, so that's your cheapest option of the new skins. So we've got all right. I don't know. We got brain breaking over here from Team Training Wheels, looking for something different. They're down one game. We have a relatively standard comp coming out from Logical Decision into a lot of damage from Team Training Wheels. And this is a map where you could potentially make that work. So we'll see. And they switched people. I knew they were going to do that on me. So let's see. So Confused is on Gazlo. Taco Cat's there. Michaelin's on Mephisto. Zhao's on Li Ming. That doesn't surprise me. I should have known that. Let's see. And Thrall is Seraph. Make sure these are all correct. I think they are. All right, so let's pop over to the game screen here. Oh, I gotta display those again. For the Alliance. Indeed, it is an Alliance comp, isn't it? So for Logical Decision, we have Ziltoid playing Greymane, Ide 15 on Muradin, Ulysses on Urel, Wono on Tyrande, and Snowglare playing the Holiday Jaina. That is for Logical Decision. For Team Training Whales, we have Seraph on Thrall, Taco Cat on Anduin, Zhao on Li Ming, Michaelin on Mephisto, and Confused rolling up with the paper bag on Gazlo. So expect this to be some crazy sauce here. We've got some very significant damage potential from Training Wheels. If they can land anything like a big root from Seraph, then that could lead to huge damage coming out from that Li Ming and Mephisto in a short burst. We also have roots coming out from Taco Cat and eventually maybe slows from Gazlo to help with that. So we do see Gazlo Yrel heading off into the bot lane looking to get some XP value there. And it's going to be Greymane v Li Ming in the top lane. And I think Greymane wins as far as a lane presence in that. But ultimately Li Ming will be able to, you know, keep up with that, at least from a safe point. And now both teams heading off to their camps. We see Training Wheels getting theirs first. Seraph and Taco Cat working on that with the Thrall Anduin. And Tyrande and Jaina on the other side, getting their Knolls started. And everywhere else, it's just a 1v1. And Gazlo down here is very low on mana as compared to Ulysses. So Confused is going to have to keep an eye on that. As eventually that will, you know, slightly favor Yrel. And now Muradin having to jump out there to make sure that he doesn't get caught by the 3-man group here in the middle from Training Wheels. And there go the sprays, popping the Anduin spray. That's fair, Ulysses. Ulysses calling me out. Oh, man. Camps running wild in the middle here, shredding each other with that armor reduction. So don't forget these null camps, they do give a stacking, I think it's 4 armor for each attack, but it's a cleave. So everything in that arc takes a negative armor penalty. So once again, Ulysses v Confused in the bottom lane here. Very slightly, I think, in Ulysses' favor. As Confused is definitely tapped. I don't know that Yrel had to. And in the top lane, again, Ziltoid and Zhao very slightly in favor of Ziltoid. Lets him kind of hang out. Make sure that Li Ming has to clear the wave. And Michaelin trying to dive in there, get some stacks. The stun coming out from Muradin onto Seraph. And the Lunar Flare follow up by Wono. Making sure they get these CC chains started and working on that level 1 baseline quest, but also that level 1, what's that called? Perfect Storm? Yeah, getting the additional damage out from every Q that he throws. We do see bold strategy from Anduin and Crash Lightning. They really want to go deep into as much damage as they can possibly get. And Crash Lightning here, I would imagine that if they actually get some fights on the points, Crash Lightning will probably stack pretty quickly. Ah, yes! An Aetherwalker level 1 talent, so expect to see a whole lot of teleport build coming out from Zhao, and again, that just further builds into that big bursty damage potential. Anybody gets low and they just suddenly die. Seraph, however, has no mana, does get jumped on by the Muradin, and it looks like the camp is gonna go over with no full contest coming out from Training Wheels. So first camp in favor of Logical Decision. Sorry, first Cavalry. Thrall electing to get back, fill up on mana. We see Anduin is pretty low as well. Li Ming's about half, so they likely have some taps up to keep them into this fight. I don't know, we'll see. We did see a Durance earlier, so we'll see if we go Durance or Consume Souls in this. Durance, if they can make it to 20, gets absolutely disgusting. Although and Wono, yeah, Wono can't cleanse the roots, but could cleanse the slows if he went that talent here. So we'll take a look at that while we're watching this. So already a wall down in mid lane. The top cavalry also getting wall and the well, and bot lane getting the wall, and that's about it for right now. But that well is taking some damage, so we'll see if these minions can do anything significant here. Top lane though, Ziltoid getting slowed down by the Mephisto, but that Lunar Flare from Wono, stopping Seraph, preventing him from getting too close to pop off an ultimate. Or not an ultimate, they don't have him yet. Pop off a root. Currently, XP slightly favoring Logical Decision, just about a half a level right now, so they're going to make it to 10 before Team Training Wheels, most likely, unless there's some awkward kill here somewhere. But both teams should have their ultimates available before the next prison camp. Yeah, Monkus, I actually agree. I think that Durance could have a lot of value here, especially with the burst potential of the, the Thrall Root, the Gazlo Gravo Bomb, possibly. And the big burst coming out of Li Ming. I think we see a Durance here. If they get that level 20 upgrade, I mean, good night. That's huge. It's a 2-second root followed by a 3-second silence. That is brutal to play into. So Logical Decision coming in with their ultimates, jumping in, the root going out, and here comes the light bomb. Follow up, but nothing finishes it there. There's the Thrall root, or Thrall Earthquake. Oh my god, words. And it's going to be Thrall that goes down, loses his stacks of that Feral Spirit. And Michael, trying to make it away, he's very slow, but it's going to be a first fort here going over for Logical Decision. And Ide saying, hey, I want to get in on that Li Ming, maybe get a stun, but there was just too much in the way. And Michael does try to go in there again, get some stacks, get some damage onto this team. Both team having heroics now. It looks like overall the timers are a little bit shorter for Team Training Wheels on those heroics. And it is Robo Goblin instead of Michaelin jumping over that wall, but forgets there's a nice easy target on your back when you do that. And Jaina and Murden take advantage of that. And there's the leap in by Murden, gets the stun onto Thrall, but the leap of faith keeps Seraph from going down until it doesn't. And Jaina getting the follow-up pressure and kill onto Thrall. But they're all very low here. If Zhao can poke enough and keep the health bars low enough, I mean, that teleport is on a very short cooldown, and they could very easily see a 5-man wipe even with as low as everybody is here. This isn't going to take a lot. There's the Durance, only hits Muradin, and that's the end of that. As Greymane took out Gazlo off screen there, Ulysses going deep into the team, trying to push them back away from the camp. 3 seconds, and this is going to be cavalry number 2 for Logical Decision. No kills, but a lot of potential pressure. They just have to get the conversion of 1 kill, and suddenly this game opens up for Team Training Wheels. I agree, Monkus. Why no Gravo Bomb? I think Gravo Bomb would have been huge here. All right. So we're starting up in the top lane, clearing out this fort, giving some pressure for this cavalry, allowing it to get into the deeper part of the lane and start putting pressure onto the keep wall. In the mid, Training Wheels able to get this cavalry about halfway, and now they're going to start coming up here because they see all these people up here. They need to defend this with Yrel and Li Ming in the bot lane. There goes a Durance. It hits onto the Tyrande, trying to get some damage, but Mephisto was just a little bit off on that lightning arc. And here comes Ziltoid diving in onto Thrall, getting Seraph just down to about half in no time flat. But it's going to be confused on the Gazlo that goes down first. A big root onto Muradin, but there's the Avatar. The Lunar Flare hits 2, and Thrall's going to go down. Michaelin getting a jump over, but he's coming right back. Just barely missed, I think, the Thunderclap, but ultimately finishes the job anyway. And Taco Cat is not enough to defend from a 5-man push on this keep, but they don't have a minion wave. And so we do see the cavalry pushed out on both the mid and bot lane. Got the wall, but not the towers in mid. Didn't really get a whole lot of anything in bot. other than to give them the pressure in the top lane. And these minions back on this fort, and take a look at this. In the top lane, we have a boss, and this boss is going down quickly. And with that in mind, Training Wheels looking to get this camp. They're down 13s right now. And, okay, Thrall's coming down here saying, hey, you know what? They got that boss. We can get this boss. I don't know that I like it. I think this is very dangerous for them to take, and they're definitely losing this keep. And I don't know that there's anything, like, there's very little value out of this. This boss goes into a fort, and right now, even with the 40 armor, if they don't come up and defend this, this could be game. This is a full health boss, and you've got a Greymane, you've got a Jaina to do massive amounts of damage, and we see now they're coming back here, leaving Gazlo on that boss to try to finish it. Here comes the light bomb onto Thrall, but there's nobody there. They do get the Earthquake pushing Ziltoid back, getting a lot of damage onto him, but it's going to be Li Ming that falls first. Gazlo drops a TNT under the boss, trying to slow things down, but with that kill onto Thrall, that's ultimately going to be the game. And with that, logical decision will take the 2-0 over Team Training Wheels. 9 kills to 1. Checking out our talents, so we didn't get quite to the point of actually having the level 16 talents. And let's go ahead and hop over into the interview room, see if we can catch Wono or somebody from the team. And let's go ahead and update our page here. All right. That was from last game. See if we can get Wono or somebody in here. Get him to pay attention to us.
Hello, Arrow.
Welcome to Mr. Wono himself.
Welcome to the hot seat.
Is it just you tonight, or is anybody else joining us? I just want to make sure.
I think it's just me.
Well, welcome. Glad you could join us. For those of you not familiar, Wono, one of the panelists, regular panelists on Nexus Edge, provides us with entertainment pretty much each and every week from Nexus Gaming Series. We really appreciate you doing that. And also putting together this fine establishment of an event. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much, sir.
So you guys were pretty much on top of your half of the division this, I'm going to call it a season.
This 3-game lengthy season.
Yeah, this mini season. So, so how did it feel going against these teams? Some of these you have played against, some of them I don't think you did. So tell me about what your experience has been like.
Well, honestly, we're pretty familiar with all 3 of these teams, Counterpick, Stupid, Regen, Blue, and Team Training Wheels. We weren't obviously in the same NGS division as 2 out of the 3, but we were regular scrim partners with almost all 3 of them. We got a decent number of scrims against all 3 of them through the season and into the off season. So aside from Team Training Wheels having a little bit of personnel change in the off season, we're pretty familiar with all the West Side teams and their rosters and everything. Sure.
And so you guys, in this matchup, so obviously you had won against each of the teams previously. In this matchup, you started off with the Orphea and Hanzo ban. I know that I've seen them play, both of those to great effect, and electing to go a little bit more into targeted bans as opposed to like a choke out of tanks or healers that we've seen in some of the matches previously. What was kind of your guys' draft strategy, especially knowing that there were 4 bans added just a few hours ago? How did that affect what you guys did tonight?
Well, we have come under criticism from some of the other teams for not memeing hard enough in this particular tournament. So after our last matchup against Regen Blue, we went to the drawing board and we just started rapid firing a bunch of like fun theme comps that we could pull out. So when we got map pick, we basically decided on a map and then looked at all of these fun comps that we had kind of come up with. Obviously, you saw us settle on the poison comp, and it worked well on Tomb of the Spider Queen, so we decided to try that one out. And then from there, we kind of just half banned things that we thought would be troublesome into what we were planning to play, and half banned just heroes we knew that they were good with.
Sure, and that first, I caught the theme on the first one. I did not, and it's kind of embarrassing because I play Alliance. I did not catch the theme on the second one.
It's all
so
good.
I appreciate you guys, shouting the Alliance war cry there. And you know what? Appropriate map for it, no less, right?
Right? We saw when they first picked Thrall, we almost thought we were going to get a Horde versus Alliance showdown, and we were super excited for it.
That would have been amazing.
What better map than Alterac Pass to have Horde versus Alliance? But they decided to meme in other ways, and it was still a fun game, but not quite as dramatic or climactic as Horde vs. Alliance would have been.
And I have to say, there was one point at that second. Let's talk a little bit about the Alterac Pass here. That second camp in the bottom half of the map, where I was a little worried about you guys, even though you had 5 players and they had 4. I don't remember who was dead. They had Zhao kind of poking at you with the orbs and the missiles, and everybody on your team was at half health. So
yeah, he was definitely starting to chunk us.
Yeah, like at that moment, I mean, I can't be the only one who was going, okay, this is scary, right? Like, you had to know to recognize that as well, right?
Definitely, especially against a hero like Li Ming, who can just pop off after getting 1 kill and delete an entire team. It's something you have to take into consideration, but I think we were already so close to winning out that objective that we felt confident that we could hold them off long enough to get that, and we'd rather not risk retreating and having them come back up at full strength and re-engaging.
Sure, yeah, take the fight while you can, and you guys did an excellent job during that of being spread apart, so that even if Li Ming did get an orb, on somebody, it wasn't hitting multiple people at once. And even like teleport, especially at that point, because she didn't have the level 13 upgrade, not being able to teleport onto one person, then another, and just chain, even if you did lose somebody, it wasn't in theory going to be a chain of deaths. Chat calling out John Knight wants to report Ziltoid for being a feeder in that last game, as he died at the end of the game. You have anything you want to say to that?
Well, I don't know if John Knight's one who should be talking about feeding first and foremost, but Ziltoid died heroically for the Alliance to secure our victory in Alterac Pass, so I don't think anyone should be mad or sad about that. He played his job beautifully.
So did you guys know when you went to that top boss, they were on their mid camp, and then they sent a couple of people down to that bot boss? Did you guys know that they were doing that?
Yes. So we saw the Gazlo and the Thrall sneaking away to the bot boss, and we had kind of a half second or two where we considered, do we push down the keep? Is the boss going to take the keep on its own? Do we go and fight them on their boss or on the bot boss then? And then we kind of, it was Ziltoid who made the call, who said, let's push with it, even though it's Alterac and ending with only 1 keep down is kind of difficult. Like, if they take too long to respond, we have a good chance of like winning it, especially if we can get a pick when it's 5v3 or whatever, because we knew that they were split. Right. So we just wanted to push our luck and see what we could get. Obviously, we could always retreat, and their boss was just going to go onto our fort. So if we lose a fort, not a huge deal. We just wanted to see what we could get out of pushing with the boss, and it got a victory. So it turned out to be the right call.
Yeah, and I made the same comments as what you just addressed, which is, hey, this isn't this is low value for you to get this boss. You're in a bad position. You're spending time, and I said the exact same thing, right? The core has 40 armor because of these extra keeps. It's difficult, but you have a Jaina, you have a Greymane, and you have a full health boss going right into it. So there's very little risk for you and tons of risk for them to not be there. So, definitely the right call. That's a difficult call to make, I think, if you're, on your guys' side so early in the game and not having those keeps down. And so good job on you guys to get that sacrificed Greymane and make the make the core call happen. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? So that that first game you talked about the dot team. Were there any other options, like if they had, for example, banned out a Stitches or banned out the Ano? Did you guys have anything else to kind of fill in the gaps if that went south?
It was like we were definitely talking about, what happens if they ban the Ana? What happens if they ban this? Because obviously we want to try and stay on theme as close as possible while still having a somewhat workable comp. So Stitches in particular was one that we were kind of worried about. Like, not that we would really expect anyone to ban Stitches. I don't think we've, like, in scrims or in league play, have we ever run a Stitches, so it's not really something people would look to ban against us. But if it was banned out, I think we were looking at the Mal'Ganis, which is an option we really kind of hoped we didn't have to go to, but we had to stick on brand and on theme, so we would have done what we had to do.
I think you could have potentially also used Blaze in that.
We talked about it, but we wanted to do like actual like poison and disease instead of just dot. So we wanted,
Gotcha.
obviously, if it came to it, we probably would. We actually also talked about main tank Zool, but only with solo support Ana. It seemed a little sketchy, and it's again not something we're super practiced with.
Right. Well, did you get a chance to watch the game earlier?
No, I actually haven't had a chance to watch the ones that you guys did earlier.
Do you know who won?
I do know who won, so I know
Okay.
we're going up against Almost Legends.
Correct, and they had a very convincing win over Calculated Throw, and obviously, I'm very familiar with Almost Legends. They're going to be a formidable opponent. Are you guys ready to face off against them?
I think we are. I think we're playing quite well as a team, and I don't really know if they're up to the task of facing us. We personally haven't scrimmed or played them since Heroes Lounge Season 1. So obviously their team's been through quite a few changes since then, and they've grown as a team. But I just think we're firing at cylinders that they just haven't quite reached yet.
Sure. And I mentioned earlier, like the East and West, it just kind of worked out, I think, this way. But the two teams from West were both Division B teams in NGS. The two teams from East, both Division C teams from NGS. So there's, I don't want to say there's a certain level of expectation that that you guys are maybe slightly higher on that rank, because I think that there was so much overlap between those two divisions that this is going to be a tough fight. I think Almost Legends is a very good team. I think you guys are a fantastic team as well, and I look forward to seeing that. And since you're in the know, are the finals, are they best of 5 or are they best of 3 as well?
They are best of 5.
Oh my god, and all those bands carry over, don't they?
Oh, hell yeah, they do.
Oh my goodness.
So prepare for even more memeage.
Oh, I can't wait. That could be so there's 12 global bands right now. And then with 6 bands per match, if you or per map, if you get all the way into the 5 games, that's half of the heroes that are potentially banned out.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that is going to be a fun game to watch.
I think at that point it's just everyone pick a hero that you can play reasonably well that's not banned out and see how it goes.
That's
like I don't even think there's rhyme or strategy at that point.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. I look forward to seeing that. I hope it's on a day that I can cast it, and if of course I'll let somebody else have the chance.
East
to
being
do so.
West, I would imagine it would try and be probably on a weekend, so that we can play it early enough that the East Coast people don't complain and the West Coast people aren't worried about work or school or whatever. So we'll see about getting it scheduled nice and early so that everyone can kind of prepare for it, casters and players and everything.
Great. Well, this has been a lot of fun. The tournament is a lot of, just craziness, getting to see some kind of wacky comps, getting to see teams showcase different people, different heroes. than maybe we've seen in other events or in NGS or what have you, where maybe we've seen a little bit more of those teams. So just before we go here, tell everybody, what are your plans with Logical Decision here going forward? What do you guys have running?
As a team, we are sticking together into the next season of NGS. We've put in a good amount of work in the off season. It was kind of unfortunate that a lot of our regular scrim partners went on hiatus, broke up, took breaks from the game, whatever. So we weren't quite getting the same quality scrims that we probably were, and had to rely on Storm League and some other stuff. But it's been a good off season, and as we draw closer to the season, we're seeing more old faces pop up asking us to scrim, whether they're on the teams they were before, forming new teams, whatever. And we're actually adding a couple new faces to the roster that you guys might see. So previously we were strictly a 5-person team, and we liked it that way, but we kind of realized that the need might arise for some substitute players. We had a couple people reach out to us specifically asking if we'd be willing to take them on. So yeah, expect to see some new faces in the Logical Decision green.
Excellent. Well, Wono, as the creator or co-creator of the tournament, I would be remiss if I didn't give you some time to offer up some shout-outs. So by all means, the floor is yours.
Yeah, first shout out to you, Arrow. Thank you so much for casting both games today and all the casting you've done for the tournament. Without you and Slexia and Zilt and other people in the community doing the casting, this wouldn't be nearly as successful or as fun as it is. I'm also a little sad that you yourself didn't get to compete in the tournament, but hopefully it's popular enough that people want to do this again sometime, and we'll look to expand it and bring more friends in. Shoutouts to my partner in crime, Imperator Mongoose, for helping me put this together, get all the assets together, do a lot of the legwork for me. It was just kind of a pipe dream that he really latched onto the idea and ran with it. So shout out to him. And lastly, I would like to shout out Valkymer's mom, because it's just a running joke at this point, and I feel like if I didn't, I'd be in trouble.
I think his mom has made it through 2 of my casts without being shout out, actually. I know what's going on in this crazy world.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to speak to some people about that.
Well, good deal. And you know what? I do have to say, as much fun as this has been to cast, obviously, being able to play in it and have come up with crazy and wacky ideas on how to address these global bans and the carryover bans and all that stuff would really make it a lot of fun to play in. Of course, we knew fairly early on that Regen Red was going to be splitting up into a variety of different components. One of which is my new team, Regen Phoenix. Looking forward to the growth of Regen Ghost as well, the captain of which is Shui, and Regen Anomaly, the captain of which is Carve. So 3 Regen teams spawning out of Regen Red to look out in NGS, because we've got a lot to offer, and looking forward to playing those games with you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Arrow.
Have a great night, and good luck in the playoffs.
Catch you later.
All right, so that is the end of the show for tonight. I do want to say thank you to Weenus, throwing out the 69 plus 1 bits. Much appreciated. John Knight as well for the follow. Thank you very much. Guys, we are done for tonight. The Pleb Fiesta, but let's take a look at where our teams stand with these brackets. So we did see earlier today Almost Legends taking the 2-0 victory over Calculated Throw. We just saw Logical Decision with a 2-0 over Team Training Wheels, and sometime in the next week or so we're going to see Almost Legends versus Logical Decision in a best of 5 that promises to have absolute chaos. You do not want to miss this, so keep an eye on the schedule in the Discord for that, and we'll try to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to catch that when it comes live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Arrow. Why is it that side? I need to move those. That's Alice. Unless she's asleep somewhere. And we'll see you here next cast coming up soon.